Hey guys, my name's Alex Barham. This is going to be my walkthrough guide to paddling the bottom moose and bottom moose sections. This video is brought to you by Mountain Man Outdoor Supply. They're the dealer 30 minutes away. We do demos and all sorts of great stuff for the community. Please check them out. And by NRS, who keep me outfitted with an amazing kit of gear, and I honestly wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff without them. If you haven't already, please also subscribe to my channel. And with that, let's get started. Before you even get onto the river, one of the features that the Moose has become known for is the on-ramp. The on-ramp is the second version of this feature. It was actually built at the takeout at one of our friends' house who asked us to please get it off her property. The biggest thing here is that, yeah, it's a little dangerous. You can absolutely get hurt on the on-ramp if you don't kick down. So start at the tree at the top, put your left hand on it, come around slowly and let go as you begin to line up down the chute. Lean forward the whole time so that the bow drags and stays straight. And as you go down, twist your paddle sideways so you don't snap it off between the trees. Lean forward and stomp your heels down as hard as you can. If you do that, you'll be fine. If you don't twist the paddle sideways, it will explode. And if you do not kick your heels down and you instead try to throw your shoulders forward, you will land completely flat and you could get hurt. Now that you're actually on the water, you can go to Fowlerville. Fowlerville is a 45 or so foot tall slide, very big, very wide, and it runs pretty much all the time. The main line is all the way on the left, and it's basically always there from the lowest to the highest levels, but the aggressiveness with which you need to get left changes. Relatively self-explanatory. There's a guard pile of rocks on the left that you want to sneak past and then just slide down. The main issue with Fowlerville is that unless you exit on the far left side, there is an enormous hole which is absolutely lethal crossing the rest of the shelf. So the other lines are about starting as far right as you can and then sneaking back to the left in safety. The center line, it starts a little bit to the right of the main left line. There is a whaleback rock that marks the entrance, and you go screaming straight into a pothole right on the left and then reconnect with the main line. The far right hero line enters with a slide, turns left, at which point you start ferrying across the river. It's very easy to be tricked at the crux and cheat and try and go too high. If you do this, you will go backwards into the hole. Whoa! If you keep your discipline and you cruise all the way across, the water's backed up, it's not actually that bad, and you're able to get out scot-free. But definitely don't run this your first time much higher than 3 feet, and really don't push the boundaries. Go incrementally as you run it higher and higher. Same goes for that center line too. Funnel. You'll also hear this rapid misnamed as Diamond Splitter, which is the big, nasty shark fin rock all the way at the bottom. Funnel is actually named for the feature on the left, which is an amazing booth during the summer. However, the main line is to run down the right shore through a wave train in a series of small drops, cut left towards the center, spin right, and punch through a huge curler. Many people are very intimidated by funnel because it feeds right onto the Diamond Splitter rock. It is actually incredibly simple if you simply hit that curler hard, fast, and start to lean left a little bit so that your boat carves as it apexes onto the top of the curler. It doesn't have to be a big deal, and it should just shoot you right out. The left side of funnel is also a really fun option. At higher flows, you can run off the absolute point on the top of that fin. I think I've done that up to 5.5 feet, which is absolutely pushing the boundary. And if you fall into the pit, you're pretty dead. But the normal way to do it during the summer, which starts at like 3.2, 3.3 and below, is extremely fun. Start in the eddy, peel out, and you are trying to intentionally rail grind that pride rock out there. The harder and higher and longer that you stay on it, the bigger your boof will be. Very common mistake is, instead of focusing your attentions on that rock, looking left into the pit. Once you look there, that's where you're going. If you do land in the pit, you better keep your head on straight. It is undercut. It will feed you back behind the curtain. So, very good place to have safety. If you swim back there, it usually takes a person to help you get out because you'll be pretty much trapped. Skipping ahead, we get to Knife's Edge. This is another iconic move where the entire rapid is named after one feature, and that is a shelf all the way on the right side of the river. Very important to note here that the lines I'm showing you are specific and not open for interpretation. There are multiple features in Knife's Edge which are lethal. The far right line on Knife's Edge starts roughly centered on the rock on the right side, which guards the entrance. As you get close, you want to accelerate from that rock heading right. There's a really tight squeeze as you get out onto the shelf, and you want to be timing your strokes so that you're passing it with a left, getting as many strokes as you can as you rock it out onto the ledge. All of that water is boiling off to the left, so you got to hold on as long as you can and try to clip that finger out there. If you miss or go early, it's usually fine. Just try to land flat and get ready for a bit of a beating. But you absolutely have to make it past that squeeze. If you don't, you're landing in a sieve, and it'll take a lot of people and a lot of time to get you back out. The S-line enters in the same place as the boof, but goes into the center of the maw. So instead of starting left, you're going to start on the right and go left. Right as you pass that guard rock on the entrance, before you get to the squeeze, you're going to be pointing your boat to about 10 o'clock and looking for where you're going to drop off. You have two options. The classic option is to point down at the hole, hit it as hard as you can, cross to the wall on the other side, turn right, and go out. The more modern way of running this is to look for a triangular shape of rock on the flake, point at it, hit it as hard as you can, and bunny hop your boat into a boof, which is going to take you flying through the line straight out the chute. Consequences of missing that flake by getting there too fast or too early can be severe. You could drop right into that same sieve again. If both of those are not an appealing option to you, that's okay. There's a sneak channel which is accessible from where you'll scout. The sneak line is quite simple. You're going to start at the upstream outside corner and paddle to the downstream inside corner before you drop off, maintaining that angle. Make sure you go in there hot. You do not want to drop off early. There is a big undercut rock. Now we get to double drop. There are quite a few options for how you run this rapid, and at some points you'll actually find that there are 3 drops because the pool height at the bottom has been lowered. The classic beginner line is to run left-left, which is 2 boofs. The first one, you're going to start high, fighting to the eddy below on the left shore, and just skip off the rock. Peel out when you're ready, go down, hugging the shore, and ride the green dragon's tongue along the left shore again. The iconic lines for double drop both center around the right side chute at the entrance. This is either run by catching the eddy all the way on the right shore, setting up for a ferry by getting behind the ledge hole, surfing the ledge hole all the way down, and then smashing the hole at the bottom at its weakest point. I like to go for the green spot where it's breaking. Throw your body weight in, you're through. The other option is, instead of doing the surf, just come in hot, put yourself right in the curl, and get fired out of that tube. Tend to call that one the chaos line. In the center, you'll find a snaking ledge hole. Don't follow the wave going towards the left. It goes into a nasty crack. Instead, pop over it, and you're gonna find a really nice auto boof. When the river is super high, go ahead and run all the way right. So enter as if you were gonna catch the normal eddy, blow out the back, and hug shore until you're all the way at the bottom. When the river gets really high, this entire rapid turns into enormous shelves, and you don't want to be in any of them. So this is still a stout line. That brings us to the end of the top 4. I'm going to do a second video in where I do the bottom.